why you must become dangerous. They told you to be nice, to be agreeable, sensible, realistic. They handed you words like cushions and asked you to pad your corners until you could be thrown anywhere without leaving a mark. They called this goodness. They called it maturity. What if it was only domestication? What if your harmlessness is the price you pay for membership in a sleepy tribe that fears its own pulse? A 19th century man with failing eyes and a head full of thunder once wrote, "Live dangerously." He did not mean pick fights in alleys or collect wounds like trophies. He meant stop living as furniture. He meant dare to want with the volume turned all the way up. He meant cease being explainable by other people's rules, because explanations are chains that look like compliments. When he said he was no man but dynamite, he was warning us. I explode what you mistake for permanent walls. Picture him in the Alps, a thin figure on a path no one else takes at that hour, a hat pulled low against fissures of light, a notebook held like a vessel catching fragments that fall from a higher weather. Pain sits beside him like a quiet animal, migraines that blind, nausea that buckles his knees, a spine that speaks in sparks. He is alone enough to hear what civilization drowns, the murmur of life wanting more life. He has already lost his gods, broken with his hero, walked away from the warm theater of Wagner's music because he smelled incense covering rot. He does not look dangerous. That is part of the trick. The most dangerous people rarely do. You were not taught to fear danger in that sense. You were trained to fear disruption. You learned early that people relax around smooth surfaces. You learned that the strong are tolerated when they aim their strength at useful tasks and spiritual silence. Your reward for taming yourself was a reputation for reliability. But reliability without radiance is a slow burial soil, thrown one handful at a time as the years turn. Dangerous in Nietzsche's mouth means this: become a force that your time cannot absorb without changing shape. Not a bully, not a tyrant, not a noise machine. A pressure, a heat, a refusal. A person whose presence in a room subtly alters the conversations other people will have with themselves on the walk home. Dangerous to laziness in thought. Dangerous to habits that pretend to be principles. Dangerous to the softness that calls its inertia compassion. The opposite of dangerous is not safe, it is inconsequential. You may already suspect the difference when you meet it. There are people who ask, "Is this allowed?" And there are people who ask, "What grows?" The first consults etiquette. The second consults weather and earth and possibility. The first wants to pass undetected. The second accepts confrontation with what is, even when it shivers the bones. One lives on borrowed light. The other makes a fire. But the moment you move toward heat, warnings arrive with the gentleness of parents. Careful, you'll get burned. They will tell you stories about the hubris of those who flew too close to the sun and fell in flames. They will forget to mention that most people never leave the ground. They will confuse obedience with wisdom because it looks so calm. They will praise timidity when it dresses as kindness. They will not say the one sentence that would change your biography. Harmlessness is not a virtue. Harmlessness is simply incapacity moralized. Think of a knife. It can cut bread or it can cut skin. So we pretend the solution is to dull all knives and eat with spoons. The better answer is mastery and a decision about what we serve. A harmless kitchen is a hungry kitchen. In a hungry kitchen, people make speeches about peace while their hands shake from lack of nourishment. Despair is polite in rooms like that. No one raises their voice. No one risks the scandal of saying, "This is not enough." Nietzsche's provocation is harder than we want. He asks you to develop capacities that could be misused, and to make the misuse unbearable to you, not because the tribe will punish you, but because you would find your own face unlivable. He wants you strong enough for joy, dangerous enough for honesty, disciplined enough for mercy that isn't secretly condescension. He wants you capable of saying no with a smile that is not apology. He wants your kindness to be choice, not strategy. He is not speaking only to heroes in poems. He is speaking to you ordering coffee, to you answering messages, to you turning down your appetite so someone else won't feel threatened. He is speaking to you, postponing your book, your school, your break, your confession, because the spectators in your mind are filing into their seats, and you have been taught not to disappoint them. He is saying, you can dissolve in their gaze for a lifetime, and the world will congratulate you for dissolving well. Or you can become dense, heavy, oriented. You can learn to carry weight. Dangerous people carry their own gravity. Walk next to them and you feel the pull, the conviction that they are not auditioning for approval. Their yes means yes. Their no is not a tantrum. They are not buying a personality on credit with other people's patience. Most of what they are is not visible. This is why they frighten the industrious shallow. What would it mean for you to step toward this? It begins small. It always does. A hammer does not announce itself to the anvil with trumpets. A sentence rewritten without pleasing someone whose respect you confuse with oxygen. A refusal to perform an apology you do not owe. A promise kept that no one will applaud. An hour spent on work, it might embarrass you if it fails, and will rust something essential in you if you never begin. You will recognize these movements by the silence they cause. The old choir will not know the tune. Good. The point of a new song is not a familiar refrain. Become dangerous is a command written in smoke above any life that hopes to be used by something larger than gossip. It is not about menace. It is about magnitude. It is about acquiring enough form to resist a culture that melts anything resolute into content. It is about being in a soft century, one of the few hard things that do not break people but shape them. When you hear this, you might feel heat in your chest, an unnamed agreement older than your manners. Keep that flame a moment, longer than comfort allows. You will need it where we are going next.
The war Nietzsche wages is not against people. It is against a spell cast on language and nerves. Somewhere between the Roman road and the modern sidewalk, strength became suspicious. Power became a synonym for abuse. To want intensely became immodest. The tribe decided that excellence was safe as long as it smiled and apologized for itself. The moral weather turned overcast. Nietzsche steps into this climate like a barometer smashed on the kitchen table. He says to the room, "The pressure is lying to you. Breathe deeper than it permits." He finds the source of the fog in a genealogy of our favorite words. Good and evil, humility and pride, love and pity. He digs into their roots and pulls up a stone with a date carved in it. These values were born in conflict. When the powerful called their own radiance good, the powerless, trampled and clever, invented another ledger. The new books said, "Your strength is evil, our weakness is virtue." And because the weak were numerous and learned to speak, their narrative spread like water. What happened in the mind of the one who could not strike back? Nietzsche listens. He hears a slow distillation of venom that calls itself righteousness. He calls it resentment, a grudge that learned grammar. Imagine a mountain village where a child is born with a voice that can make windows hum. She sings in the square one afternoon. The farmers stop, baffled, delighted, irritated. Delighted because beauty is a disruption the heart longs for. Irritated because it reminds the body of what it settled for. A priest listens and senses a threat. He cannot sing. He is tired of being measured by such light. He coughs and says, "Pride is dangerous. Display is vanity. God loves the lowly." He starts a story in which the girl is dangerous because she could disturb the tranquil acceptance that passes for peace. He calls his story moral instruction. He does not notice the taste of bile. Resentment is not a conspiracy. It is a common human strategy for surviving loss of agency. If you cannot change your fate, you change your vocabulary. If you cannot climb the mountain, you pronounce the valley holy. This is not always wrong. Some mountains devour climbers. But when the strategy calcifies into a vision of the good, culture collapses into suspicion of any rise. The exceptional is tolerated only when it kneels. Talent becomes a problem to be managed. Desire is quarantined by rules written in tender words that circle like wolves. This is where Nietzsche turns dangerous himself. He does not rescue the strong by teaching them to hide their claws. He tells them to extend them and learn restraint from within. He does not flatter the weak by rebranding their exhaustion as sainthood. He invites them to lift until they tremble. He offers no anesthesia, only a diagnosis. You are not moral because you cannot act. You are moral when you could act and choose your measure. If you lack measure because you lack muscle, you are not good. You are merely safe to ignore. He uncovers another mechanism, the bad conscience. When an animal bred for open fields is penned in a narrow stall, it turns its wildness inward. Teeth that once tore are now words that bite their own flesh. Civilization is built on such pens. We call them laws, treaties, manners. Some enclosures are necessary. Most are kept because we forgot how to open them. The surplus energy that cannot be spent in hunting, building, voyaging, art, combat, love, where does it go? It rots, and the rot produces odorless guilt. You will know it by this. You interpret your intensity as a fault to be confessed instead of fuel to be aimed. Nietzsche begs you, stop confessing the weather. Move it. History gives us a theater for these transformations. Stoics taught vigorous self-mastery and were admired in an empire that wanted stability. Monastics hauled their desire into deserts and forged new disciplines in heat and silence. Renaissance painters tore a hole in heaven and let light fall on flawed bodies until flesh looked like a sacrament again. Each age coped with its energies differently. Our age has chosen sedation. We call it wellness. We call it balance. We are bored and anxious in the same hour because we have built padded rooms for instincts that would rather wrestle meaning into the dirt than stretch politely. The suspense in Nietzsche's argument is not rhetorical. It is physiological. What happens to a species bred for danger when its enemies are algorithms? What happens to a nervous system designed for weather and cliffs when it stares at panes of glass and calls the scrolling storm real? Your hunger for magnitude will not vanish. It will hallucinate. It will turn political debates into substitute battlefields. It will turn relationships into arenas where you reenact strength and submission. It will turn the question of how to live into a question of who applauds. The will to power, frustrated, becomes the will to be seen. So he prescribes an antidote that sounds like a dare. Climb something. Not because the summit will love you, because your blood needs an enemy that is not a fellow citizen. Court risk for the sake of appetite that remembers its lineage. He does not mean recklessness. He means stakes. A body without stakes will invent cruelty. A life with stakes can justify its discipline. He admires the warrior not because of blood, but because of posture. Forward, eyes clear, death remembered, fear harnessed as a guide dog, not worshipped as a god. You can see now why he despises pity as a public sport. Pity in his lexicon is not compassion. It is an infection the weak passes to the strong, so that both can avoid the hard labor of growth. Pity says, "Stay small with me." The world owes us a blanket. Compassion says, "I will sit with you while you hurt. Then I will demand you stand and come with me." The world owes us a horizon. Nietzsche's error confuses the two. So does ours. One soothes, the other changes muscle. The build continues. He says the philosophers you worship are timid tailors, hemming the garments of values the priests have already cut. He says a true philosopher is an experiment. Bomb, bridge, lightning rod. He does not write for campuses. He writes for cliffs and for kitchens, where someone sits with head in hands. Because to be fully alive in a polite age feels like treason, he says. Good. Treason against a mediocrity that calls itself peace is the beginning of civilization worth the name. If you flinch, it is because your training taught you that danger equals violence. He will not correct the flinch. He will aim it, become dangerous to your own anesthesia, become a threat to your favorite excuses. Become to the person you would be if you kept pleasing a wolf in the doorway. You will not harm them. You will stare until they cannot keep their shape.
The knife turns inward not to stab, but to carve. The revelation arrives with the cruelty of a friend who refuses to flatter you. The coward you must endanger is in your chair. The tyrant who rules you is not a policeman or a priest. It is the voice in your mouth that says later. The herd that tramples your morning is the 1,000 small agreements you signed without reading. Don't be too intense. Don't be too sure. Don't be too strange. Don't be. Nietzsche does not set you against the world first. He sets you against your tendency to bargain your pulse for permission. He offers an experiment the size of a universe, eternal recurrence. Imagine that a demon visited you at night and told you that every moment of your life, every sigh, every sneeze, every awkward glance, every delight will return to you eternally in the same sequence forever. Not once again with edits. Exactly. Would you gnash your teeth and call the demon a devil? Or would you say, "You are a god, and never have I heard more divine news"? This thought is not a cosmology. It is a test. He uses it to ask, could you will your life so fully that repetition would be a blessing? If not, where do you need to become dangerous to your own half-living? Danger here means a ferocious yes. It means behaving as if you could stamp your choices so deeply into being that even time bends its knee. The cowardice he loathes is not fear. Fear is a decent animal. The cowardice he loathes is the betrayal of your own highest possibility in favor of small negotiations that earn you nothing except applause that evaporates by morning. To live under eternal recurrence is to feel the weight of your hours pressed down with a sacred heaviness. It is to become allergic to pettiness because the cost is infinite reruns. From this height, his other slogans click into place. God is dead, not as celebration, but as meteorological report. The old sky cracked, the tables of values shattered on the tiles. A vacuum formed. Vacuum invites vermin or builders. He prays for builders and knows how rare they are. Because to build you must be able to say no to the climate everyone else breathes. You must be able to legislate yourself. The bar mensch is not a caped tyrant. It is a possibility. A human who writes new commandments on new tablets because the previous ones died from polite use. The law they write is not for others first. It is a vow to their own spine. If this sounds lonely, it is because it is. Nietzsche calls it the path of great noon, the hour when your shadow disappears because the sun is directly overhead and there is nowhere to hide. He offers you companions for the climb, a lion and a child inside you. He says once you were a camel, kneeling to take on burdens. Good, you learned endurance. Then you became a lion, roaring, I will. In the desert where the dragon thou shalt lies coiled in scales made of commandments. You fought. You won. But the lion cannot create. Only a child can. Innocent, forgetful, a sacred yes. The child plays and so makes worlds. The child is dangerous because it does not need permission to draw a new line. How do you meet this child without becoming soft again? By becoming hard in the right places. He writes, become hard, not cruel, crystalline, cuttable only by diamond. Let your yes be a gem someone could build a house with. Let your no be a door that no wind can rattle. The style of this hardness matters. Brutality is cheap hardness. It shatters under heat. Classical hardness endures in fire and cools into clarity. You can feel the difference in your jaw clench or set. He asks for setting. Sils Maria, high summer. He is walking a path he has walked 100 times, boots rubbing dust from stones that remember his weight. He sits on a pyramidal rock beside a lake that holds sky like a calm eye. A lizard flicks. A thought arrives whole, without argument. The greatest weight. What if everything returns? His body feels the sentence before his mind does. A shiver like lightning inside the bones. He knows he will be called mad later. He also knows that the thought is a weapon and a gift. He writes until his hand burns. He cannot believe that anyone living in a city will hear him. He writes anyway because he has already chosen his witness. The future that refuses sedation. Another connection flickers. Truth, he whispers elsewhere, is a woman. She does not love those who barge at her with logic like a cudgel. She yields to dancing. He is not telling you to tell lies. He is telling you that reality resists the heavy-handed. If you want to build new tables, learn grace. Learn timing. Learn to surprise even yourself. Dangerous people who lack style become tyrants or clones. Dangerous people with style become midwives of civilizations. Style in his sense is not trend. It is a consistency between the heat in your chest and the word that leaves your mouth. It is your inner weather written in a script the outer world can read without a translator. He refuses to let you hide behind compassion as a mask for envy. He refuses to let you hide behind humility as a mask for fear. He refuses to let you call your boredom peace. He will insult your most cherished evasions until you either throw the book or throw the mask. He would be delighted either way. The only thing he cannot forgive is indifference. Better a storm than fog. Better a fight than a yawn dressed as civility. He would rather you be dangerous and wrong than harmless and empty, because wrongness can learn. Emptiness only echoes. You may wonder what keeps him from becoming the very tyrant he disdains. He answers with a devotion you can test. Amor fati, love of fate. Not resignation, romance. To take everything that happens, hard and sweet, and say to it, I wanted you. Not because you are a masochist, because you understand that your power is increased by every weight you lift. Fate is a gym for the soul that refuses to be merely trained. It builds itself. It sets its own regimen. When misfortune knocks, it does not say, why me? It says, good, more metal. Now the revelation turns practical with an insult that feels cleansing. If your goodness depends on your inability to do harm, you are not good. You are docile. The path is to develop the capacity for force and then say no to its cheap uses. He is asking you to become the kind of person others instinctively consult, not because you are agreeable, but because you are a standard. Standards are dangerous. They embarrass what cannot or will not rise. They are also merciful. A standard gives the exhausted something reliable to lean on when every soft thing has sunk. Danger has a price, and if you pretend otherwise, the bill will arrive with interest. The price is misunderstanding. The price is caricature. The price is losing the comfortable rooms where people make small talk out of big losses and ask you to laugh. Nietzsche paid it in long coins. Friends who turned into pamphlets. Mentors who became operas he could no longer sit through. A reputation he could not curate because his life did not happen where reputations are traded. He paid in nights of pain that reduced his world to a bed, a basin, a window, and the conviction that the sentences in his head were worth more than sleep. You will pay in smaller denominations that will still sting. Invitations will thin when you stop supplying the agreeable texture that held other people's gatherings together. Your refusals will be called anger. Your intensity will be called arrogance by those who cannot remember the last time they let anything matter. Your new boundaries will be translated as betrayal by those who prefer your old obedience. Expect it. Let it hurt. Then let it harden the places that needed skeleton all along. There is another price, which you can celebrate if you know the ceremony. Joy will become more expensive, not because it will be rare, but because it will be specific. The highs you learn from applause will dim. The bright sugar hits of permission and quick praise will taste like saccharin compared to the difficult sweetness of a page well made, a body well used, a friend well served, a truth said cleanly when it cost you. You will stop buying knockoff joys to keep up appearances. In their absence, you will sometimes feel melancholy, a clean gray that looks like winter fields. Do not rush to color them. Let your eyes adjust. See the bones of the land. And there is the greatest price, solitude. He cannot spare you it, because he believes solitude is the forge in which your voice anneals. Become hard, he writes, while hearing the misunderstanding gallop. He means, take the heat, then the water, then the heat again, until your metal stops warping at every gust of public weather. He means, do not apologize for not fitting into rooms that require you to swallow yourself. He means, if your kindness needs a crowd, it is performance. Practice kindness in the quiet, the daily mercy of carrying your fate without blaming strangers for its weight. Dangerous, in his mouth, could never be cruelty, because cruelty is the pastime of those who cannot create. Creation wants conditions. Cruelty destroys them. He tells you to mistrust any movement in yourself that delights in breaking for the sound of breaking. Distrust the rebel who needs an audience to breathe. Beware the iconoclast whose favorite hobbies selves burn down. The strongest are gardeners. Their hands are not clean. Their plots are brutal in their demands. Their harvest feeds rooms where people do not need to hurt one another to feel awake. He whispers another corrective. You must cultivate gentleness once you have become formidable. Otherwise, your danger will be indistinguishable from hunger. Gentleness after strength is like shade after noon. It is a place where others can come without fear. It says, I could do damage, but I won't. Not because I am afraid of punishment, but because I respect my power too much to waste it. It is the difference between a line of poetry that cuts and a slogan that shouts. One takes years to craft and leaves a mark. The other is loud for an afternoon. He knew about misuse. The century after his death misquoted him into atrocities, tore phrases from contexts, put his hammer in hands, eager to smash faces instead of idols. He didn't live to defend himself. He did not write to be used by the small. He wrote to shame the smallness in each of us. Your task, if you take him seriously, is to build a conscience that cannot be drafted by cruelty. Dangerous to the herd does not mean dangerous to the vulnerable. It means dangerous to the story that keeps the vulnerable weak. Bring this down to your day. Being dangerous might look like telling your family you are not attending the ceremony where everyone plays the game of pretending to be who they were 19. It might look like quitting a job that pays well, but costs you your spine, and living with a quiet panic until you rebuild muscles that money atrophied. It might look like writing something your circle will not understand and sending it anyway. It might be learning to lift the weight you once asked others to carry, and realizing the grace of being a burden only to who you must. It will also look like mercy that confuses the crowd, refusing to join a pile-on, refusing to share the outrage du jour because you do not enjoy the smell of burning straw, refusing to pretend you hate a person you envy, refusing to call contempt intelligence when it is only exhausted superiority. Dangerous people do not need enemies to feel alive. They are busy. Their days have work in them. They sleep. You will have rituals. He had mountains. Find yours. A gym at dawn where iron and breath tell you a truth no feed can. A desk where you make a shape out of hours until you can hold it up and call it yours. A path along a river where you watch the same bend in different seasons and remember that repetition is not the enemy if you are becoming. A room where you read sentences that change your posture. A person you tell the unsellable truth to. These are temples unspecified by any church. They will carry you through bewilderment better than any sermon. Lean into one last gravity. Gratitude that is not softness. Amor fati is not the smile of someone pretending everything happens for the best. It is the teeth-bared grin of a boxer who knows the bruise is part of the craft. It is the posture of a mother who birthed pain along with a person and does not want to return the gift. It is the worker who loses a position and gains a vocation. It is dangerous because it cannot be manipulated. Those who love fate cannot be bribed by comfort or threatened by fear. They are free enough to be faithful to something other than convenience. At the edge of all this, A simple scene. Night. A room that looks like yours. A table with a notebook, or a keyboard lit like a small shore, or tools you have neglected because your life became a series of evasions pronounced reasonable. Outside, weather. Inside, silence broken only by the animal complaints of your own nerves and the thought that has always been waiting for you. You put your hand on the tool. For a moment you hesitate, because starting is treason against 100 agreements you made to remain harmless. Then you begin. The first minutes feel like a crime. You are not answering. You are not pleasing. You are not shrinking yourself to fit a familiar doorway. The body protests. It remembers the safety of corridors lined with applause. The mind intervenes with terms and conditions. You forgive both for their caution. You keep going. The words come stubbornly. The weight moves as if through syrup. The room does not congratulate you. The crowd does not appear. There is only you, and beneath the noise of you, something that does not speak in words. Call it will. Call it soil. It is older than your name. Somewhere in that hour, you notice you are dangerous. Not to anyone in particular. To the part of the world that wants you on your knees before its altar of perpetual compromise. The realization is quiet. It arrives without music. It feels like a new temperature under the skin. You are not brash. You are not tremoring with rebellion. You are steady. It is impossible to overstate how rare this is. Steadiness without spectacle. The culture will not know what to do with you. Let it learn. Tomorrow you will step into rooms where the old choreography is on offer. Laugh here, agree there. Dull yourself to match the furniture. You will feel the invitation like gravity working at your ankles, and you will decline without a speech. You will not be rude. You will not be moralistic. You will simply be oriented elsewhere. Friends will sense the shift and ask if you are angry. You will tell them no. You are busy failing in a new direction. You will mean, I am practicing the only faith that keeps me sane now, saying yes to my highest tasks and letting the lesser ones bruise without bargaining for their forgiveness. There will be days of relapse. You will find yourself performing again, almost by muscle memory. You will catch yourself laughing the wrong way, saying the smaller thing, being nice when you need it to be precise. Forgive yourself with speed and without drama. Return to the forge. Danger is not a pose. It is a discipline. It is not a mood. It is a set of standards you apply until your soul understands you will not abandon it to the weather. Write your own tablets. Not 10, not marble, not for public display. A handful will do. I will prefer necessity over approval. I will choose creation over commentary as often as I can. I will measure kindness by cost, not appearance. I will fear the erosion of my character more than the erosion of my reputation. I will want my fate, not only endure it. I will spend my strength where it can multiply, not where it can dazzle. Keep these close. Test them. Break them when they become idols. Replace them with better ones. This is what it means to legislate yourself. One day soon, someone will accuse you of being dangerous. Perhaps they will mean you disagreed with a mood and refused to apologize. Perhaps you loved something unfashionable and did not hide it when trend demanded kneeling. Perhaps you set a boundary that exposed their dependence on your silence. Hear the word and just for a breath, taste the dignity in it. Then check your compass. Are you dangerous to the weak? Make amends. Are you dangerous to the lie? Proceed. There is a horizon in Nietzsche that the century rarely looks at because it is not meme-sized. A great health. Not the narrow absence of illness, but the presence of capacities most cannot imagine carrying without collapsing. A kind of spiritual athleticism that makes joy a heavier weight than grief, and still you hoist it. In that health, you have no need to crush, no interest in humiliating, no time for petty wars. Your war is with the parts of you that would trade glory for comfort glory, not as fame, but as the brightness of a life fully burned. Stand again in the mountains where a thin man scribbled, while the storm behaved itself on the far ridge. He looked across the valley and saw the village roofs holding their heat, the tiny curl of smoke from a chimney where a family worked out their evening. He did not hate them. He hated the spell that made them ashamed of wanting more than safety. He wanted singers loud enough to wake roofs into listening, blacksmiths who hammered better metal than custom, teachers who demanded the living from the already born. He wanted people whose danger to the age would be their refusal to let it sleep. You are not 19th century. Your threats are different, slyer, draped in light. But the command rides well into this century. Become dangerous. Not as costume, as substance. As something the room feels even when you say nothing. As a promise to the dead who did not get to make their vows. As a comfort to the children watching you and learning what an adult is allowed to be. As a reply to a demon who, on your last night, asks whether you would do it all again. You will want to say yes. If this opened your eyes, subscribe to Boring History, because the truth is never boring.